I am not so sure I can remember, but I like the fact that we are reminding me. Um, okay, Boluwatife says yes. Government of the people, for the people, and by the people. This is one of the definitions I liked most when I was in school. I mean, if you slap me and ask me, Miriam, what is democracy? I could easily say democracy is the government of the people, for the people, and by the people and for the people. Yes, thank you. So, good afternoon, everyone, and officially, you are welcome to ViMP season. ViMP 2026. We are ready. If you are ready, let me see your energy in the chat box. If you are ready for ViMP 2026, let me see your reactions, your energy in the chat box. ViMP 2026. Then, yeah, before we proceed, this is more like a full circle moment for me. I could remember that in 2024, the first info session was also on a democracy day like this. Yes. Okay, I can't see our energy in the chat box. We are over 44 and we have just one. Let's go. Yeah, thank you, Angela. Let's go. We are so ready. Yes. Yes, we are ready. So, yes, welcome to another Junior Achievements Nigeria's ViMP Info session. My name is Miriam Suleiman, a ViMP 2024 alumni, a ViMP 2024 participant. Yes, now an alumni, and I will be our moderator for today. So yes, before we kick off the session, I would also love to meet everyone. But before we introduce ourselves, I am sure that quite a number of us know Junior Achievements Nigeria already. So if you do know Junior Achievements Nigeria, I would want you to drop Junior Achievements Nigeria vision in the chat box. Let's see our people. Let me see the people that know Junior Achievements Nigeria. So in the chat box, what is Junior Achievement Nigeria's vision? Our vision at Junior Achievement Nigeria. So who wants to help us? I don't want to believe no one. I am waiting. Junior Achievement Nigeria's vision. Okay. Nobody. So I was going to say no one knows, but thank you, Chioma. So to build a world where young people have the skill sets and mindsets to build thriving communities. So at Junior Achievements Nigeria, so two things, skill sets and mindset. We believe that it is not just enough to have a skill set, you need to have that mindset, yes, to build thriving communities. And speaking of mindset, I could remember the first info session we had in 2024. Immediately after the info session, one thing I did was I took a picture of myself during the info session and I sent it to myself with the caption, Miriam Suleiman, ViMP 2024 physical participant. And the first minute I got that congratulations email, the first thing I did was to go back to that picture and I was so happy, right? And there's something we call manifesting. Yes. So, I had the mindset even from the first info session that I was going to get into being that 2024, and I got it. So to introduce ourselves now, I would want you to tell me your name. So in the chat box, right? Your name, where you are joining from, and a manifestation to show that you are ready for ViMP 2026 and you will be a ViMP 2026 participant. So let's go. Let me see our responses in the chat box. Your name, where you are joining from, and a manifestation to show that you are ready for ViMP 2026. So let's go. I can't see our responses yet. All right, we have Eniola Bakare, Lagos, ViMP 2026. I like that. Concise. Ismail Abdurazak Abolaji from Kwara State. I wish to join the program and learn more about the program objectives. Deborah. Okay, I think before Deborah, we have someone. Oluwabukumi Olaopa, joining from Kwara State, Nigeria. I am a ViMP physical participant, ViMP 2026, I believe. Yes. I am Deborah Adeoye, joining from Abuja, Nigeria, and I'll be present at ViMP 2026. Hello, Miriam. Hello, Chisom. Chisom Osunwa here. I'm joining from Lagos, Nigeria. I see myself sitting among the next cohort of ViMP participants. I like that, Chisom, and I can't wait to also see you there. Okori Chioma, Ogun State. You have a picture on your wall similar to the room and certain ViMP attendees get lectures in. This is my form of manifestation. Yes, I am so rooting for you, Chioma. We have Miracle Agbontale from Ibadan, ViMP 2026 participants, Juwon Abdufatai. Why we do that? Please nudge your friends, your colleagues, and every other person who you know is expected to be on this call. ViMP is not that program that you should joke with. No, not ViMP, not our ViMP. And we have about 53% on this call, and the responses are few. Yes, and one thing I like about ViMP participants, ViMP alum is, ViMP is a program, ViMP is an energy multiplier. Yes, I like to, if you ask me in one sentence, what is ViMP? I'll just tell you ViMP is an energy multiplier. And for ViMP to be able to multiply your energy, you can tell me that the energy needed is not zero, neither is it 10, 10 times 100 is just 1,000, but guess 100 times 100, 10 times 100 is 1,000, yeah. What's 10 times 100? Yeah, 1,000. 100 times 100 is about 10,000, like that, like that, like that. So imagine having an energy of maybe 100,000 times 1,000, right? So we can do better. I am Lawal Adam from Ibadan, Nigeria. Incoming, yes, incoming ViMP participants 2026. Hello, Miriam. I am Ozana Kara, joining from Akure. I see myself participating in ViMP 2026. Yes, I also see you participating in ViMP 2026. Sarah Joseph, Ondo State, ViMP 2026 for sure. Joshua Oroge, Ilorin, ViMP 2026. Looking forward to it. Yes, we are all looking forward to ViMP, and I am sure that we all will get into ViMP. Okay, so my principal in secondary school, anytime she during assembly on the assembly ground before exams, she'll come and say, "You all pass the exams, this and that." And as soon as you say that, "Amen," the next response is always the next response. So I was saying that when I was in secondary school, my principal, anytime she comes to the assembly ground during our exams, and she says, "Oh, you all will pass your exams, you pass your test," and we say, "Amen." The next response is always 1 million amen cannot do it. Yes, so I like that we are manifesting in the chat box. It is so beautiful to say, but I must also tell us that for ViMP, we need to be ready to put in the work. We need to be ready to put in the work, and just to ensure that our manifestations come to pass, we at Junior Achievements Nigeria, so the essence of this info session is to ensure that we all are able to submit, yes, a stellar application for ViMP. Yes, so thank you so much everyone for joining, and just move on to the next session now. And that would be the welcome remarks and overview of the program, ViMP Venture in Management program. And we would have no other person do that than the head of People, Performance and Culture at Junior Achievements Nigeria, in person of Adaobi Okoye. So I know it's a standing ovation, clapping ovation, this is ovation. So with a virtual ovation, I would want us to welcome Adaobi Okoye. And I can only see Deborah Chisom blessing. We can do better. We can do better. Yes. All right. Good afternoon, Adaobi. Are you ready for us? I know you are ever ready.
Miriam.
All right.
Good afternoon, Miriam. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Miriam, for such warm welcome. I think that with some of your introductions, a lot of us already have an understanding of what this program is all about. Okay, so good afternoon once again, everyone. I'd like to see in the chat box. Let me be sure that people are with me. Let me see. Good afternoon. I would like to see comments in the chat box. I'm not seeing any comments. So, okay, Emerald, thank you. Dennis, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining. Thank you. And on behalf of Junior Achievement Nigeria, I am delighted to welcome each and every one of you to this, I'll call it informative, a bit of orientation session for 2026. And to provide clarity, ViMP is Venture in Management Program. All right. And this was established in 2000 by Junior Achievement Nigeria. And I like that just listening in, I saw Miriam asking if some of us know what Junior Achievement Nigeria stands for. And I know that while she was asking that question, even if you don't know, you would have gone on your website, you go online to actually see what the vision of Junior Achievement Nigeria is. We're a non-for-profit organization, and ViMP is an annual 1-week intensive initiative. And this initiative was designed by our organization, and our vision and what we aim to get from this session is to equip selected members. So there will be a selection process. It's going to be a rigorous selection process. And the equipped members, the category of people who are required for this program are NYSC, that is National Youth Service Corps, and recent graduates that are looking to get practical knowledge in business management, in decision making, in leadership, in also trying to understand what career path, what are they going to do next. This program is for you. And what does this program do for you? This program prepares participants for careers in management, entrepreneurship. And like I said, it goes through rigorous learning sessions that will be facilitated by faculty members from Lagos Business School. So this initiative is, we partner with Lagos Business School, and we have senior expertise, different expertise, people, subject matter experts that will be taking us through this session. And you wouldn't want to miss this session. And what you'll be experiencing from the session will have case studies. We'll be using real life examples. There will be panel discussions. There will be guest lecturers. We're going to have, spokesperson, mentors, people that role models that people look up to will have, and people that have succeeded in businesses, in their career paths, in leaderships. We'll have some guest lecturers at this session. And we'll also have a collaborative activity that exposes you to real world management challenges. So you can see that this program is well packed for each and every one of us. So what are we bringing to you on this 2026 edition? This edition is going to host 100 participants, and it's going to be a fully physical session that will be happening at Lagos Business School. All right. And it's going to be supported by, we have the project manager who is on the call, and you'll be hearing from him in person of Oluwatosi Oyetayo, who is also an alumnus of ViMP, just as the moderator is Miriam. And you can see the value that they bring as well. And we'll have, the program will be overseen by, we have executives of the alumni, we have the management team, and we have volunteers that will also ensure that the day-to-day management of this program is carried out effectively so that we can have a successful program. So you're in good hands, right? And the program concludes with, we'll have a strategy session, we'll have a workshop that, like I said, will be handling real life situations. So the good thing about this program is over time, and it started in 2000 and we're in 2026. That's to tell you that, so for any program that you bring to the table, there are learning curves, there are improvement angles, and there are things that you improve on over time. So this year we'll be looking at real life business situations, we'll be looking at challenges, and at the end we'll have a community service project that will be implemented in local schools. And as you know, our mission, what we stand for, is we're looking at financial literacy, digital literacy, entrepreneurship. That is some of our four pillars, right? And this will be held in local schools. And then we'll also have a ViMP alumni mixer where you have some of our alumnus that you can relate to. And if you've been following Junior Achievement Nigeria well enough, you see that we have a lot of successful stories. We have a lot of prominent people that have gone through this initiative that is being implemented by Junior Achievement Nigeria. And another wonderful thing that we would like to say is there's also going to be a job matching session, right? So this is an initiative that I would encourage every one of us. I believe that we have quite a number of graduates on this call, entry level people, people that are trying to navigate their career and want to equip themselves for the next level. I would encourage you not to miss this. And if you also have people that are also trying to navigate their next level, it is important that you share this with them so that they can actually even register, go through the selection process, and maybe be selected for the program. All right. And this program is going to run from the 31st of August to the 4th of September this year, right? I'm hoping that I'll be seeing people, excited. Yeah, thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Chioma. Yeah, so it's going to run from 31st of August to the 4th of September 2026. And also to accommodate people, like I said, we're going to be having 100 participants in the session. But what we have done as well is we're going to batch it. So we'll have 50 in person participants and we'll have 50 virtual because I can see quite a number of people from Quara. I can see a number of people on the call when we're doing introduction from different parts of Nigeria. So I can see from Ondo, I can see Sarah from Ondo, I can see Nancy from PH, I can see Lawal from Ibado, and quite a number of us, right? So let us do well to, even if this is not for you, for people that you know that will gain from this program. And I believe that as we progress, my colleagues on the call will also give you more information on what everyone that participates in this program stands to gain. All right. So I would like to welcome each and every one of us once again to this program. And please let us do well to share the link to our friends, our colleagues, our brothers, our sisters, those who are serving, those who are just out of NYSC, those who are in the job markets. Please do well to send this to them. All right. So on behalf of the management team, I welcome each and every one of us again to this session, and I will be handing over to Miriam now. Thank you, everyone, and welcome. Miriam, can you hear me?
Yes, I
Awesome.
can hear you, and I can see I can see our reactions already. Thank you so much, Alabi, for that. We can do better, actually. We can do better. We can do better. We can do better. Even okay. Yes. So, even someone that has never heard about Jan or Vimp, with all that Adalbi has said now, I am sure that you have enough knowledge about the program. So, one thing I believe is you need to experience Vimp to understand Vimp. There's nothing anyone can tell you about Vimp that can validate that experience. I'm going to tell you that for you to understand VIMP, you need to experience it. And VIMP is what that program, believe me. So yes, I will not be doing this today alone. I am sure that most of us have seen the flyer and you'll be wondering that, okay, when do we get to that point? Very, very soon. And again, as Adalbi has said, if you know anyone that would need this program, a core member, recent graduates, anybody, please do not hesitate to share the link with them. They can still join us. They can still join us. Yes, so now I'll just invite our panelists who would be speaking to us today, sharing their experiences, their lessons, how to submit a stellar and a perfect application to ensure that you get into the program. And today we have with us Ariola Daniel and Gifts Agboro. Hello, Ariola. Good afternoon. Hi, Ariola. Good afternoon. Okay, hello, Gifts. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. Am I audible? Can you guys hear me clearly?
Okay, yes, I like the
Sorry,
smile.
I had a bit of network issue. So yeah, but I can hear you guys now.
All right, all right. Thank you. Just wanted to confirm that you are with us now. So yeah,
Yes, I am.
hello, Ariola. Are you with us? Good afternoon. All right. Do you mind saying one or two? Okay, please, Junior Achievement Nigeria, you need to unmute Ariola. He can't seem to unmute himself. So please.
Can you hear me now?
All right, yes, we can. Good afternoon,
Perfect.
Ariola. Yeah, well. Okay, so before we go into the session, I would want you to do a brief introduction of yourself. Let's meet you.
Hi, my name is Ariola Hado Daniel, and I lead a nonprofit, Future Pathways Development Initiative, and I'm alumnus of the ViMP program powered by Junior Achievement Nigeria. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So, hi, Gifts.
Hi guys, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Are you able to put on your video?
It's because of my network. I would have,
Oh,
but before the call goes up, I'll try to turn on video. I'm just trying to save bandwidth.
all right, all right. So please just introduce yourself so that we can meet you.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Gifts Adboro, alum here. I think I joined the ViMP program in 2022, and I'm really looking forward to sharing some of the things that helped me in my application process. And yeah, over to you. Do you need me to give a brief about my experience, career, or you didn't give us a script to follow? So I'm just using, also trying to save our time. But yeah, any questions you ask around that, I will definitely speak on it.
We know that you can definitely speak on anything that you are asked. Are you not even Palom? So yes, thank you so much, Gift. So before we go into the session, a quick one, a quick one, a quick one. Let me see if we are still together. So everyone, you can just drop your answers in the chat box. If you were, so imagine you were invited to a dinner with business leaders, entrepreneurs, innovators. Who is that one person that you would love to sit with and why? So if you were invited to a dinner, who is that one person that you would love to sit with and why? So you tell us the person's name and why you would love to sit with them. So I'm looking forward to our answers in the chat box. So for me, I know if I say Dangote now, everyone would know why I would want to sit beside Dangote, right? That man is, okay, I think I can say response already. Okay, someone says, Angela says, Issa Rae. I love her mind, her creativity, and how much she loves her community. All right, thank you so much for that, Angela. I am expecting our responses. Just one response. So imagine you were invited to a dinner with business leaders, entrepreneurs, innovators. Who would you want to sit with and why? Folorunsho Alakija. I love her audacity and impact. Yes. Udo Okonjo. I love her perspective and approach to life, business, career, and family. Mr. Vusi. He understands deeply the business landscape of Africa and what it needs to scale. Tunde Onokoya. Yes, Tunde. I love how impactful and creative he is. You can say that again. I would love to sit with Mama Ibukun Awoshika. She has taught balance as a woman and the importance of business, life, and family. I will say Tunde Onokoya. Okay, Tunde again, Tony Elumelu. Yeah, I was listening for that. Simple why. I want his playbook on how to get your foot into industries that keep a nation's economy running. Yes. Ibukun Awoshika again, then Ibukun Awoshika, Mrs. Awoshika. I like that. And one thing I would just love to say is if you meet these people, you would understand that there is really nothing extraordinary about them. It is not like they have two heads, they have four hands or something. They are humans like us. But what they have done over the years is to shape themselves to become great people. I'll just put it that way. And with ViMP, I can assure you that definitely, even if you were invited to a dinner, you would be that person, yes, that people would always want to sit with because they know the value that you bring. Yes. So thank you. I have someone like me here, Aliko Dangote, because of how versatile he is in business. Yes, you can say that again about Aliko Dangote. Yes, so thank you so much, everyone. We would now be moving into the panel session. So yeah, hi, Ariola. My
Hello.
first question is for you. Okay, great. And that would be what attracted you to VIMP and what ultimately convinced you to apply? What attracted you to VIMP and what convinced you to apply for Venture in Management program?
Two things. Firstly, thank you for having me. It's glad to speak to prospective VIMP members. So what attracted me to VIMP? Two things. Firstly, I had a friend who got in for 2024, and in his conversation with me, it sounded like a big deal. Right. So I said, "Oh, okay, we'll check it out." But ultimately, what attracted me was at that point, there was a need for association with credibility. So, for example, if you're a part of what Junior Achievers Nigeria is doing, trust me, you don't want to take that lightly, you know. And but like one of my friends would always say, if you're going to the top, one of the easiest ways to get to the top is to follow somebody going to the top or somebody who is already at the top. You know, and for someone like me with a lot of experience in non-profit and for impact organization, it just made sense for me to apply. And of course, I mean, I got in, and it was an amazing story for me personally. So what attracted me, I had a friend mention it to me, but more importantly, it, I was very intrigued with the work that JN was doing, and voila, here I am.
Voila, here we are. Yes, that is beautiful. Thank you so much for that response. And I am sure that we have our pens and our jotters with us, and we are writing all of this down. Yes. So thank you so much, Ariola, for that. Hi, Gift. So I would want you to share your experience on how you
Uh-huh.
scaled the application process. So before you go on, the first time I applied for VIMP in 2023. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and then I can't remember, but I know that when I applied, I even applied on time, and so I didn't get in, right?
Okay.
And
Mm-hmm.
I was down. I was kind of because I had so much looked forward to VIMP and all.
Yeah.
And I know that. So one thing was I didn't join the info session in 2023. I'm not going to lie. Right. I was in
Mm-hmm.
camp then, NYC camp. And I can say that one of the things that changed it for me in 2024 was the info session that I joined. So I would want it to be, real
Uh-huh. Yeah.
in answering
Yeah,
the
for
question
sure.
so that people are able to understand deeply, yes, what to do.
Okay.
So thank
Okay.
you.
So for me, like Ariola, I had a friend who um had did the program, and she said so much great things about it. And that sort of like just put the program for me, like it was on my radar. But I think what made me eventually, because I mean, at the time I used to track like programs I'd love to be a part of or events I'd love to attend, right? So I was always checking for Jan whenever they release anything related to Vim. And I was also looking for the profiles of people who had, done the similar program, saw what they are doing and all of that stuff. So that's also made me see the great credibility of people that, Vim brought together. So for me, it brought home to me because I had a friend who, she participated in the program and she got a job from the program. I was like, okay, cool. That makes sense that, VIM creates that, career pathway. In short, it was through VIM that she started a career in venture capital. So while I had the program in my radar, I was intentional about how I wanted to present myself, right? Because I know it was highly competitive. I know that there were a sort of things, or rather, there were a bunch of things that they were also looking out for in the people they wanted to bring together. So my intentionality was, again, I want to be a part of VIMP. How do I position myself to be able to tell my story authentically, but also demonstrate how I also would bring value into the cohorts at the time, 2022 cohorts. So the application process, I mean, I'm trying to answer your questions in two buckets now because, again, my experience leading to becoming a VIMP participant was I had a friend who participated and all of that stuff. And I was also presenting or really just packaging my story so that it aligns very well with what VIMP was looking out for. So when the applications were opened, I think there were three application questions we were meant to answer via the application form. And at the time, if you scaled through that first phase, the second phase would be like a live interview. To be honest, I had looked forward to it, so I was preparing for it, right? So it wasn't really so much of a hustle or a hustle rather. It was more or less like, okay, I was preparing for it. And I think my own story is also a story of when you prepare and then an opportunity comes and then you actually, put your best foot forward and you get it. So yeah, I'll say that my experience overall was I was anticipating VIMP. I, you know, packaged in common parlance, I packaged my story so well that it aligned with what VIMP at the time were looking for. And then when the application came out, I responded to the questions authentically, shared my story. And when it was time for the interview as well, I gave it my best shot. I prepared, like, guys, I prepared for the interview. And then I eventually got selected. So I would say that was my overall experience. And yeah, that's how I also scaled with the application process.
All right. Thank you so much, Gifts. When Ariola mentions that a friend, I also said a friend. I was just like, okay, we have people on the call whose friends are not here and they are, eligible to apply for VIMP. So if you have any friend that you would want to come and share their story later in the future, there's really no way they would be able to do that if they don't get into VIMP, right? So please, please, and please, you can still share the link with your friends. So thank you so much, Gift, for your answer. I really liked it. And I even liked the fact that you highlighted the different stages of the competition, of the application. Yes, thank you so much. So of all these stages, which one did you find? I know you said you had prepared. Yes, yes, it's good to prepare. But which one did you find, maybe let me say a third bit, maybe somehow difficult? Which one did you think was kind of difficult for you to navigate of all these stages?
For sure, I think it will definitely be the essay parts. It wasn't like difficult, it was just intense because the questions at the time really required that you looked inward and respond to what it is that you wanted to make out of life, even after VIMP, right? And if I remember clearly, okay, let me not give everybody expo, but my one of the application questions that we got at the time was if you were to deliver a TED talk, what idea do you want to share that will change your community and your world? Well, just thinking, I know I thought of that question for like a week, to be honest, to come up with truly an idea that I want to share. So it was the intensity for me that I had to put myself in that process of really just looking inward and answering those difficult questions in quote, not difficult per se, but just answering those questions that would make me stand out and that would also make me share authentically. Because again, if you're someone who you want to make something out of your life, it makes sense that you actually stay true to yourself. And whatever applications or whatever application you want to put forward, it makes sense that you actually tell your own story. So yeah, I would say the essays were the ones that really required more intensity for me in preparing and making me look inward in myself and say, okay, this is actually how I want to or this is the idea I want to change a community with, and all of that. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Staying true to oneself, the best gift of all gifts 2026. Yeah, thank you so much. And I like the fact you mentioned that we're not going to give expo, but you later said the question was this, and that. Tell me you love everyone on the call without mentioning it, but I understand. Thank you so much. So yeah, back to you, Ariola. So do you think it's realistic to meet the application demands given a time frame of 2 weeks? So do you think 2 weeks is enough to apply for ViMP?
Okay, so very quickly to answer that question, Tosin, are you on the call? And can you hear me?
Yes, I'm on the call. Can you hear me?
Okay, so if you remember last year, the application was open for 4 days before it was shut down. Am I correct?
Exactly, that's true.
Perfect. So I'm trying to answer that question because I remember clearly that, like I said, a friend had told me, so immediately the questions were out. I was done with my application in less than 2.5 days, and that was because I was in between work. Now, my story is a bit different because prior to that period, I had embarked on a bit more tedious project like the African EU, which was like a project. It was an EU project between Digital Innovation Hub in Africa. At that point, I know I'd also written like projects called Unveil, an Erasmus co-funded initiative between South Africa and Africa. So at that point, seeing the questions and answering it, I just felt like, oh, you know what? So I mean, I was done with my answers, but I did not submit. And I think I had refreshed the page on maybe the fourth day or fifth day because I know I was in between travels and the link was no more going. So I was like, I mean, it didn't work out this year. So I texted my friend and he said, oh, they're going to bring it back. Don't worry. I'm like, okay. So immediately it came back on, I submitted. But I'm saying that it is possible to do this in 2 days, if you're being honest, right? Like Gift said, the most important part is the ability to own your story. I'd worked on different projects. So it was easy for me to say, oh, this is what I want to do, or this is what I was doing, right? Now, again, my story might be quite different from majority of people. Do you understand? But again, I understand that it is possible to do the application in 2 weeks. But more importantly, I mean, let me not shut you too much. So yeah, it's possible.
Meanwhile, a little bit of shalaye would not hurt. But yeah, thank you so much for your response. And I really liked where you started from, but I'm not going to talk about that. Saying that you had just 4 days to apply last year. So yes, we like being 2026 applicants already. And yeah, so I can see some questions in the chat box. When is the ViMP application starting? What are the things ViMP are looking for? Thank you. I like our energy already. I can see we are ready and we would definitely get there. So hi, Gifts.
Hello, hello.
All right, thank you. So for someone who is currently here, I mean someone who is attending this session and considering applying for venture in management program, why do you think ViMP is a program that they should not miss?
I think for anyone who is on this call, right, chances are that you've either be like me, keeping ViMP on your radar, right, or two, you actually want to make good use of yourself by either kickstarting your career, or three, you're sort of like maybe early mid-stage career professional, and you really just want to be in a room of other trailblazers who are designing their lives, but who are also impacting their world and their community. So again, that already sets you apart. Now, to answer your question, for someone who is attending, why I believe you shouldn't miss applying for ViMP is, to be honest, and not to sound cliche, ViMP is like I don't know if you guys are familiar with all these programs that happens in the US where they will bring like, mid-tech professionals together just to, set them up for success. I know there are some schools like Stanford, Harvard, they put, those kind of programs together because they want to create like a path for students who want to maybe be a part of something bigger. I think ViMP is that version for Nigerian, early to mid-stage career professionals who are trying to make good use of themselves. Maybe they want to be an entrepreneur, or they want to know what it means to have a great career, or they want to impact their community, so social entrepreneurship. So being a part of ViMP actually sets you up for success, actually, because what it does is it exposes you to, again, a set of trailblazers. In my cohorts, I can say that we were oh my gosh, we were so amazing. There was amazing set of people that right now everyone is doing so well in their respective field. But even aside being a part of the room, being a part of the conversations that happens, the faculty as well, Jan has done an incredible job in partnering with LBS, right? So the faculty they come with their A game in impacting the students, impacting the participant. Because when you sit in class, it's almost like you're in business school, to be honest. And what that does for you is it expands your mind. And there are instances where they bring like external professionals to also come and share their stories, or even alums that I don't know if you guys know of Femi Taiwo, who was ED of Flip Africa, who is also doing amazing work as well right now. They bring people like that to the room to sort of like reshape how you think through what it is that you want to do with your life, right? So to answer your question, don't miss ViMP because it sets you up for success in different ways. It makes you to be a part of a community of trailblazers. It also exposes you to an incredible faculty that changes your mindset around business, around social entrepreneurship, or around, the 9 to 5 or the corporate ladder. What it also does is, I know that ViMP has this component where they organize like a career fair. So if you're someone who is also trying to like figure out, guys, the job market is somehow now. ViMP has created that pathway for you to actually meet possible employers who would either give you your next job or connect you to someone who has your next job. So I'd say don't miss it because of these things I just mentioned. And I hope it does make sense.
Oh, yes, perfectly. It does. And one thing that stood out for me is that ViMP sets you up for success and, exposes you to a community of trailblazers. And this will lead me to my next question for Ariola. But before we get to that, my roommate in 2024 is a lawyer. Yes, she's a practicing lawyer. And last year, she reached out to me to say that she wanted to start a community of women who could come together to pray, seek advice and all of that. And when she added me to that community, that last year we were about 15 women, and of the 15, I was the only one who is not a lawyer. And that last year I was jokingly telling everyone that don't offend me, like do not try me, because if you try me, I have lawyers that can always come up to my defense. So yes, it exposes you to a community of trailblazers and sets you up for success. Thank you so much for that. Now, Ariola, looking back, what session, experience, lessons, interaction had the greatest impact on you? Maybe during, after ViMP. But yes, what had the greatest impact on you?
So I'm going to try and explain this with an example. So both for men, and please, if at any point you cannot hear me, let me know. So if you're a lady and you have been asked out on a date, and the young man sends you a dress, he picks you up by 6, he holds your hand, opens the car, drives you to the spot. You guys have a wonderful time, great meals, great conversation, drives you back home. You get some, he calls you back. That's example 1. Example 2 is probably if you're a car lover as a guy and you walk into a showroom. About 2 weeks ago, I was in a showroom. I was with a senior colleague, and we're trying to look out for what's it called, electric vehicles, because it's thinking about getting one. And they're talking to us about the horsepower, its strength, its charging ability, the distance, the kilometers, and its durability, and many other things like that. Now, what all of this has in common is that as a lady on a date, what part of that experience stays with you the most? I think that I cannot say there was one part that stayed with me. It was an all-round experience. So the hand holding, the car, the dresses, the food, the meals, the conversation, the ambience, it's an all-round encompassing experience. So I think for VIMP, for me, there was no one particular moment that stood out. I think it was more like I stepped into that place and there was good energy. There was solid guys. It was proper conversations going on. When it was time for lunch, we had great meals. When it was time to go back rest, we had people, we had energy, we had people coming to the rooms to say, hey, let's work on this project, let's have this presentation. So like I said, it was an all-encompassing experience for me. So for anybody looking to be a part of this year's own, I don't think that you should be on the lookout for just one part. I've been a part of many events, conferences, cohorts and fellowships. So I know exactly how some of these things look like. And believe you me, you don't want to watch out for just one part. In fact, I think opportunities will probably show up in the most least expected areas. And yeah, I think I would stop there for now.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Ariola. Thank you so much. It is good to say or great to say that every moment spent at ViMP was exceptional, right? Every minute, every second. Okay, thank you. So looking back on your so what opportunities same for you, Ariola. Yeah, so what opportunities, relationships, or lessons from ViMP have stayed with you long after the program ended? So what opportunities, lessons, relationship, experiences have stayed with you long after the program ended?
I don't know how to put this,
So okay,
but
sorry, before you go on, how
okay.
was that emotion? Like,
You said?
yeah, your expression, yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I mean, it was because I wanted to say something, but midway I tried to say it again.
No, you can always share now.
So what experiences have stayed with me? Many. I remember Tosin and where's Angela? I'm still in communication with Zachary from Dangote Foundation, and that was because it was around last year, and we got his email and then we kicked off conversation. Like I said, I'm in the nonprofit space. I lead it for impact organization, so it only makes sense that you're also able to connect with bigger folks, right? And they were I think I embarked on the project in the month of April. Jan was a big part of the project too, but I remember reaching out to a colleague of mine who were part of the ViMP program together, and she also manages the Nigerian division for another large nonprofit, dedicated towards young people, leadership, and stuff. So when I was at the program, I didn't foresee a partnership like that coming forth, but couple of months down the line, I remember that she had mentioned she was affiliated to the organization. I reached out to her and it was smooth. So yes, there were many paths that stayed with me. There are many opportunities. I remember there was a point I got an email saying, drop in your CV if you want to do this and that. I'm like, that's how it's supposed to be. So, I wish I did drop my CV anyways. Right. But again, the most important part is that if you open up yourself, you would receive so much. Like I said at some point that I can't remember where I ate this anyways, but this is like probably a good description. And I think that VIMP is like an all you can eat buffet, right? Now, if you do have small stomach, apologies, I'm so sorry. If you're shy, you can't talk to people, but you're smart, or if you're extroverted and you got good energy, but you can't keep up relationships. It could be different variety for you. But as much as you can eat, I think you can really, really do milk out so much. I remember meeting Kayode Okikiolu at the lunch area, and I said to him, I said, my next event you're going to host it. Do you understand? And I was like, yeah, sure, bro, no problem. And hopefully, I'm probably going to send him a text soon so that we can. So I'm saying that as much as you want, I think you can really get. So it was perfect and awesome.
So beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Ariola. Thank you so much. Hello, gifts. We are back.
Hello.
All right. Thank you. So for you, how did ViMP challenge or change the way you think about leadership, business, or even your career aspirations? Yes. So how did ViMP challenge or change that?
So part of the activities that we do at VIMP is they would split you into groups. And then ideally when they split you into groups, they'll give you like a business case study for you guys to work together as a group, come up with a solution to that problem that was in the case study, and then also come and present that as well to the wider class and the wider cohorts at the time. And I remember when I was going to when I knew I was going to participate in ViMP, one of the things I told myself is I'm not going to chalaye, let me use your word. I'm not going to like raise up my hands and do this and do that. I wanted to like just stay back, listen in, soak in, follow for anybody that wants to take the lead and all of that stuff. But they connected us, split us into groups just within my own group. I remembered I was just seeing the disorganization because people were like, oh, how do we do that? How do we do that? And I was like, oh my gosh, do I have to now speak up and, direct everybody? And I think that was like a really pivotal learning moment for me in my own leadership journey because it helped me realize that while, you want to follow and you just want to like take a step back, when you see an opportunity to step up and take lead and take charge to making sure that things run smoothly, you do that because that's the whole essence of leadership. That's the whole essence of taking ownership and taking responsibility for what ought to be done. And I remember that just having that mindset as well helped me in coordinating my team. And we eventually even won like the business case competition at the time. And looking back, if I had just like said, oh, I'm not going to like do this, I'm not going to do that, I'm just going to allow things to spoil and all of that stuff, it would have also rubbed on me. Again, that was the learning experience because you see opportunities to step up and do what ought to be done and just make sure that at the end of the day, everything works out the way they ought to. So I would say for me, that in some way challenged me in my own leadership journey, right? And how I approach seeing things that are not working well and taking step up to like, either creating a solution for it or coordinating people that would help in creating that solution. So yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. And I like that. It just validates the point of leadership is not just about holding titles, right? And I think for me, it would be that entrepreneurship is not just about profit. I mean, you need to set out to make impact first, then the money would follow. And that has, stayed with me since that time that entrepreneurship is more about impact and not profit. If you are focused on making impact, then the money would follow. Yes. Thank you so much, Gift. Ariola, the next question is for you. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Your video is off. All right, thank you. So, Ariola, how do you think an interested applicant can get all the support they need to ace their application?
Okay. So my approach to life is very different than Gift's own, you know. But how can an applicant get all the support that they need? If I'm being honest, do you understand? This is purely opinionated. I don't think you need support. Right. In the words of Apostle Olamide, in a song called Letter to Millie, I think he wrote that song to his son. He said, Maja cost of the president. Right. I think that more importantly is that if you need support, especially because you're tilting towards a direction which is venture management program, you're not learning product design, you're not doing coding, you're not doing hair making, and those are like great stuff. But if this is your direction, I don't think you need ginger and support. I think that there has to be a driving force, and like don't let anybody be the one responsible for certain things. Do you understand? And like I said, this is purely opinionated. So personally for me, like Gibb said, you want something, you go for it. If I don't hit it, if I wasn't picked, my response would not be they didn't pick me. It would be that there were 150 other good people more than me. Do you understand? And I wasn't going to be angry because, again, you demand from life what you want. So, what for interested applicants, my advice to you is simple. If you want it strong enough, genuinely you would get it. If you want it strong enough, you are just going to be in that headspace. Your storytelling is not going to be, oh, I did this and I did that. Do you understand? You would probably sit down with a communications expert, say, hey, this is my essay. Can you proofread it for me? Can you rewrite it for me? Do you understand? Or I'm thinking of presenting this project or this project. Which one do you think has more value? Do you understand? Like there's those drive, there's those internal momentum that honestly no external support can give to you. So yeah, thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. So, there's this book I read one time, The Mountain is You, right? And from your response, Ariola, I like the fact that you said you don't need external support, right? To be sure that for you, yes, to apply, even though you can always get a bit of a support, for proofreading and all of that. And I would say I agree with you. You would see people reach out to say that, oh, they didn't get in, and I did what you told me to do. I did this, I did that. And sometimes when you just ask them a simple question, be like, when someone told me this, and you're like, oh, someone did this, someone did, and say yes. So it just, validates the point of you are your own driving force, you are your own motivation. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
and sorry to cut in. I mean, again,
Yeah.
if you have people who have been a part of the program, alumni, you can actually reach out to them, ask them to help you out. But I just believe that if you really want something, you'll get it. But again, not everybody's like me. So please, if you know people, send it to them. Ginger them, ask them to help you. What can you do? How do you prepare for the interview? Ask Gift for her email on this call because she has me. I'm a very interesting character, but let's know if she's something that she's willing to help you out with. Reach out to her on LinkedIn or something, and you'll just be amazed that out of 100 people, you're probably top 99.
All right. If
See, Arenola is putting me
Ariola
on
has
the
set you
spot.
up,
He has put me on the spot.
that's a big setup if you ask me.
Okay, I mean, this is my boss now, so
So
Okay, Ariola has mentioned that you may not need too much of an external support if you know what you are doing. You are the author of your own story, right? But Gift, what do you think about using AI to answer questions? For application questions, using AI to maybe answer your questions, maybe. But what do you think generally, yes, about using AI to answer application questions?
yeah, if you don't have content by yourself, AI cannot help you. Let's just be serious with ourselves. If you don't have like that major story or data point, AI cannot help you. AI will only just make your own application look really automated and complicated. So I would say that in order to when you're putting your application, first of all, read through the questions first and answer. I will not say AI cannot help you. Of course, AI can help you, but again, to yourself be true. If you know that this thing that AI will do for you, it's not your own story, then why go through that route, right? I would say let AI not be your first recourse. Again, because when you go into the program, if you get selected, you would have situations or scenarios where you want to connect with people, right? And if connecting with them, you're not yet able to craft your own story. You're not able to like share the things that really makes you seek the things that you look forward to. You will not get the most out of the program. So I would say when you see the applications, be true to yourself, answer those questions. If you need AI at all, exhaust all the human interactions you can exhaust. Reach out to your mentors, reach out to your peers, let them read through it, let them give you some context, reach out to alums. Like me, I reached out to my friend who went through the program, say, oh, this is my essay. Have a look at it. What do you think? Right. So exhaust those opportunities that you have already within your peers first before. And even when you've exhausted it, you might even not realize that there's really no need for, using AI because to yourself, you're sure that this already looks sound and it already looks good. So that would be my response to the question.
All right, thank you so much. You said it earlier that we should stay true to ourselves, and again, you mentioned that to thyself be true, and I think I like that. And why I like that is because these days sometimes even AI they put it there that this make mistakes sometimes, so you should not fully rely on the answers, right? Yes, so even if you would be using AI, be sure that you are using it to augment your ideas and not just to develop your ideas, to augment your ideas. Thank you so much, Ariola and Gifts. If you ask me, I would say it has been a wonderful session. I just so even every day, I wish I could go back, sit back, if Jan could give me the opportunity, I wouldn't mind being a part of ViMP 2026 also, right? So yeah, thank you so much for sharing your experiences, your lessons. I am sure that for everyone on the call today, they have a good and better knowledge of what ViMP is about and how to apply for venture in management program. So I know that we have said a lot, we have shared a lot, and we may have questions. So now we'll be taking questions. So if you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat box. And I would also be checking for questions that were dropped earlier. Okay, someone's asked if ViMP can help to find where they can get jobs. I will get that. So do we have any questions for Ariola and Gifts? Question and answer. We have them to ourselves here, going on LinkedIn to follow Gifts, to ask for to ask for support. We have Gifts here already. Do I need my transcript to apply? Okay, so I think we'll take this question later also. So when is the application likely to open? You joined late. When is the application date? The likely questions to expect in the application and how best to answer them. So I can see I see that we don't have questions, the specific questions for Ariola and Gift. Okay, so Ariola, someone is asking for your social media handle. They would love to follow you. Are you open to sharing that? Okay, Ariola Daniel, across all platforms. Beautiful to see. I hope you don't use the same password across all platforms also. But yeah, so I think I didn't get that.
They don't enter me like that too.
I'm not entering you, so I'm just trying to be sure that we are also.
No, this one is just branding. Nothing serious.
Okay. So you're saying no. All right, so we'll just go on to the next session. And I see all the questions in the chat box. Is there an age limit for the program? Will you get a job through the program? We will get to that, definitely. We'll get to that. So Blessing says, thank you so much for this insightful session. I have a question for Daniel on how he got into working for non-profits, as I am particular about the development space. And I particularly do not know which niche to concentrate on, as I am a third year engineering student. Oh, beautiful. Ariola, I have a question for you.
Okay, so the interesting part to this question is that I studied computer engineering in school, right? Federal University of Technology, Akure, best and the first, whatever they call themselves. Anyways, so yeah, I did engineering in school, but my answer is going to be very unconventional once again. I was not passionate about the non-profit space. Do you understand? I stumbled upon it. And one of the why I'm saying that is because for some people they set out to do non-profit. I didn't. I just found out that I was in my fourth year and I needed a job. I just felt like, what? Why wait till after school to get a 9 to 5? Get a 9 to 5 now. And I started reaching out, got rejection. By my third month, I got a proper 9 to 5. And I was doing that with school. So it was also interesting that the job I got, I think I was in my final year then, it was a digital innovation hub that was tripartitely owned by the state government, by a non-profit, and the Federal University of Technology, Akure. So the non-profit just took an interest to say, hey, guy, we like what you do. You're energetic. We like, your sense of commitment. Would you like to come do some work for us? And I said, yes. And, from there, another non-profit came and said, oh, we saw what you're doing. I moved. And then fast forward to about a few years, I'd done a lot of work in non-profit. Now, I'd taken courses, non-profit leadership management. I'd done stuff. So how exactly can you go into the development space? Genuinely, I don't know. Do you understand? But I know that if you, let me sound like a motivational speaker now. If you want something strong enough, the universe will bring it to you. Do you understand? Or speak to people in the non-profit space. Do you understand how you can volunteer? In fact, you can start with John. Do you understand? Reach out to Angela or to Oluwatosin, tell them you want to volunteer and, be a part of it. Maybe, just do something. Do you understand? And before you know it, you're still in your third year in school, you probably have about 2 years more. By the time you're done with school, you have like 2 years under your belt. And then you graduate and you're like, oh, okay, so now I can dictate my terms. So for me, that was it.
Okay, so the chat box, they are saying they love your honesty and you should take it easy on us. And I think I align with that. I align. But yeah, thank you so much, Ariola. I think one part that I would also love to emphasize on is the volunteering. Through volunteering, you get to learn from people and you get to see practically how you can get involved, what you can do, the easiest way. So someone says, I was going to say the fastest way is through volunteering, and I am not going to lie, it is true volunteering, truly. So yes, as Ariola said, Junior Achievements Nigeria is a very good place to start. So yes, we are open to receiving you. Yes. So we have another question for both Ariola and Gift. Chisom is asking how you went about answering your essays. Did you have to reference data or sources? Yes, so we can start with Gift. Gift, please.
So for the essays questions, there was really no need to. In short, I think, and then you guys correct me if I'm wrong. What Jan or the team will be looking out for is actually your story, right? I don't know if the same questions that I filled in 2022, the same questions that you feel in 2026. But I know that at the time when I was responding to my questions, I didn't need to use like, oh, in 2000 and in 2019, 600 people are out of jobs and all those things. And I didn't have to do that. So it's going to be dependent on the kind of questions that you see on your applications. And if you see that there's really no need citing big numbers and whatnot, for sure, free it. But if you see that there's a need, of course, do it. So I'll say that, but in general, just make sure that your response to the questions are genuine. It's your story, it's your career or your vision for your life or your career and whatnot. So that would be my response to that.
All right, thank you so much, Gift. Ariola.
What Gift just said, retweet. Like I co-signed what Gift just said. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that. We are done now, and I would want us to appreciate our panelists. They have really done well. They've done a great job, and yes, please let's appreciate them. I can't feel the energy yet. And I already mentioned that ViMP is an energy multiplier. So if you are not showing us that you have the energy now, I don't know when. I really do not know when. We can do better in the chat box, our reactions. Yeah. There's a question in the chat box for you, Gift. So you may want to check that. Thank you. Moving on to the next session now. This next session is a beautiful one that I am looking forward to also. So we also have on the call our okay.
Sorry,
So
sorry, because Oluwa Timile's question is a bit nuanced. Can you guys hear me?
Okay, yes, I can.
Okay, because our question is a bit nuanced. Timileyin, can you reach out to me on LinkedIn and let's just have a chat? It's more than fusing both or going with one field because again, I'm a lawyer. I have a law background and I've worked in tech, so I can give you more context and more ideas on how you even go forward. How do you marry these two interests? So just reach out to me on LinkedIn and let's chat.
Okay, I am not sure you have dropped your LinkedIn handle or you at
It's
any
Gift
point mentioned.
Agboro on all platforms.
Okay, on all platforms also. Okay,
If can I
okay.
reach out to you too on LinkedIn?
My Oga was about to even say that I will reach out to you so that me, you, and you will talk.
Thank you,
All
boss.
right. Thank you so much, Gift. Thank you so much, Ariola. Before we move on to the next session, we're watching a video now. I would want us to pay attention. So, are we ready? Okay, okay. I see we are ready.
Ready.
My name is Bolaji Junai. I'm currently the CEO of Wi-Fi Night, and privileged participant to ViMP 2014. I can say that ViMP program has been one of the significant programs I've ever done in my career in terms of it changed my perspective when it comes to how to run a business. It was like a mini MBA, structured, well-structured residential program, and I think that for every graduate in Nigeria, perhaps, for them to understand the real business space, the corporate space itself, going through this program will have great benefit to them. And very importantly, that I must mention is the kind of relationship that you actually get to have. Even your classmates, about 49 of us, is still a very strong relationship that are actually leveraged in the business world today. Some of us have gone ahead to do great stuff. Some of us are professors right now. So, in different industry, and it's just amazing how things can come up from those particular stage and become big things. So thanks to Jan, thanks to ViMP for this privilege to be able to share my story with you.
All right. Thank you so much for the videos. So, Balaji participated in ViMP in 2014, and this video was recorded in 2024. So I had the chance and the privilege of meeting Bolaji in 2024 when he came for this program. So he also served as a judge, yes, for our presentation and spoke with us then. And one thing that stood out for me is he participated in ViMP in 2014. And 2014 to 2024 was a decade already. And even from the way he spoke, you could see how much the program impacted him. And now imagine now that we are in 2026. Right, even in 2024, yes, it could still always reference ViMP as one of the programs that had impacted his career a bunch. So I would want us to really, really, really put our energy and our best into this so that we all can also come back, maybe 2020, 2036 now to say that, oh, I was a ViMP 2026 participant. I learned this, I learned that. So thank you so much. The next on our agenda would be hearing from our alumni presidents. We also have a community. Do not be surprised to have a community. And okay, so he is Tomilola Mustafa by name, but he is not with us and he's being represented by Tosin Akiton. So I would want us to listen to her and pay attention, detailed attention to all that she will be sharing. Words from the mouth of Mr. Tinola Mustafa, the alumni president, through Tosin Akiton. All
Hi
right, good evening,
everyone.
Tosin.
Good evening. Hi everyone. My name is Tosin Akintoye. I'm actually the alumni vice president for strategy and marketing and communications. And Tommy was supposed to take this today, but he's unavoidably absent. So I will step in for him. Very exciting to meet our prospective VIMP participants. I myself did VIMP the same year we Gift actually, so it's really good to see you, Gift. I know we've really tried to keep up with each other on social media, but hi, Gift.
Hi.
Hi. So that's necessarily the power of the alumni community that comes from ViMP, right? So, for example, there's a gift who me and her went to ViMP 4 years ago in 2022, but today we are still very well connected. We catch up on each other on live events on social media, on LinkedIn, and all of that. Aside from the personal relationships and bond that you obviously form when you join part of ViMP, right, is career advancement opportunities that we've had. I know enough who have gotten jobs because of opportunities that were shared on our ViMP group chat, right? Or people who went for interviews and somebody who was an alumni of ViMP was one of the recruiting people, or even just a member of the company who understood the recruitment process, right? And the person reached out to them and they were able to get those opportunities. Also professional development, right? You can always reach out to anybody in the alumni network and say, you know what, I need this opportunity, or does anybody know this? And we see that a lot of knowledge and information sharing happening on our platforms, right? And there are a lot of valuable but other opportunities, right? Opportunities to, if you're somebody who wants to volunteer, right? You can always use your link from ViMP or to volunteer more with Chan, right? So, as an alumni body in this next year, one of our biggest goals is to try to connect more with alumni and collect alumni to opportunities that benefit them, right? So, in the next year, one of our biggest goals is, to do a lot more activities that involve alumni and to engage alumni on things that we think would matter a lot to them, right? So, when you join the VIM body, you don't just get the 1 week program and Lagos Business School, right? You get a lifetime of partnerships. You get this network. You get this organized body who prioritizes your professional development, your career development, your business development, right? If you are selling somebody who knows, somebody who is a procurement manager at the company who would be your future manager. It's one of your VIM classmates, or even from a VIM, because you're not just connected to just your classmates, by the way. You're connected to VIM alumni across the years, right? So you can always reach out to them and say, you know what, I have this product, I have this opportunity, and anybody's always really ready to connect with you, right? And obviously, we are creating platforms that foster strong community that support you, not just your short-term or immediate career goals, right? But even long-term, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, right? So yeah, so that is a little bit of what we want to do in the alumni body, right? Obviously, if you throughout the VIM process, you can always reach out to me on social media. Still Tosin Akito, right? And I'll support you along the way. So thank you, and I really hope to welcome you to the alumni body someday.
All right, thank you so much, Tosin. So Tosin has also mentioned that we can always reach out to her on social media for more support, right? And one thing that stood out for me from what Tosin has said is that VIMP is more than a week; it is a lifetime of partnership. And I think yes, that is just the a concise way of defining it. It is more than just a week, right? It is a lifetime of partnership, and you get to always enjoy from it at every point in time. So thank you so much, Tosin. It was nice having you. Thank you so much. So yes, I've had quite a number of questions. How do we apply? Can we get jobs through VIM? What's the eligibility age? This and that. And I am happy to bring to you Oluwatosin Oyetayo, who would be sharing with us the eligibility criteria, application process, and all your questions answered. So yes, hi Oluwatosin. Oluwatosin Oyetayo is the Assistant Manager for Programs Department at Junior Achievement Nigeria. Hi Tosin.
Hi, Miriam. Good evening. My video will come up
All right,
shortly, but can you hear me? Please confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, awesome, great. Yeah, good evening, everyone. So good to have you all on the call, and I've really enjoyed the session so far. Thank you, Ariola. Thank you, Gift. Thank you, Tosin, namesake. We are doing alumni reconnection now because Gift was 2022 cohort, Tosin was also 2022 cohort, and also good to see my people back on this call. Yeah, thank you very much for sharing, and thank you also for motivating and inspiring these young individuals to see a reason to be a part of VIMP and to also benefit from what VIMP has to offer. Yeah, basically. So thank you everyone thus far for patiently following through the conversation. And thank you for ensuring that you are able to ask questions as well, because for most of these questions that you ask. Okay.
Hello, Oluwatosin. If you are speaking, you are muted. We can't hear you again. Hello, Tosin. All right, so I think Oluwatosin is experiencing network issues. While we wait for Oluwatosin, I would want us to drop
Can
one
you hear
thing,
me?
yes, that has stood out. Okay, we can hear you now.
Yeah. Can you please make my second device a host? Adewale. Thank you. Yeah. So I look forward to getting that comment so that I can turn on my video. So I'll just quickly run through. Thank you, Adewale. I can see that now in post. Right. Right. Yeah. So I will just run through the application process for the Venture Management Program, and I want us to pay attention so that we can get every information first. And can you hear me?
We lost you for a minute, but we can hear you now.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so to start with, the application process is going to start from this info session, right? And this info session is just to give applicants, prospective applicants, professional participants, the opportunity to understand what it means to be a part of venture management program, hearing from the experience of previous of alumni and alumnus of the program, right? And so after the application process, after this info session, we are going to be putting out the application form so that interested individuals can submit their application and get in the pool of possible participants for the program, right? For you to apply for the program, you must be a graduate. Or a serving corps member, or must have completed your service year 1 to 2 years working experience. We are giving opportunity for that 1 to 2 years of working experience because of the age bracket, right? So the target audience, the age bracket of those who are eligible to apply or who are eligible to participate in this program are young individuals between the ages of 19 and 27, basically, right? So we understand that some individuals are still within that age bracket and are already part of the workforce within the country. So because of that, they also have the opportunity to apply for the program. They can also apply for the program. And then one other criteria that is also very important for application is that you must have a second class upper or a first class. Yeah, you must have graduated with a second class upper or a first class, which is also a very, very instrumental criteria for applying to be a part of the program. Then in addition to that, this is also an advantage, as was mentioned by Ariola, right? Volunteering with Junior Achievement Nigeria as well is also one great advantage, that can put you on the pool and give you a leverage to be selected. It is not an automatic slot. It's just a leverage, right? Because we believe that you already understand our vision and our course, and that you're able to help us drive our course as a part of for participating in the program, right? So yeah, it's also a criteria that is also going to be used in selecting, applicants for the program, right? For previous years, it's always advisable that you apply on time. As mentioned by Aniola as well, last year we had a window of 4 days for application, but this year we are very considerate and we are giving a window of 2 weeks, to submit your application. And also from previous years as well, we usually have over 1,000 applications, from the pool of individuals who show interest in the program, right? So from the pool of individuals who apply, we then screen out the application to ensure that individuals that submitted the application, they meet up with the communicated criteria and they are candidates that we can boast of by the time we communicate their selection as part of the program, right? So there's always a screening process where we check their essays, their responses to the request from the application, and that also gives us an idea of what they are capable of doing, right, as individuals when they come on board, right? So after that process, so that process streamlines the number of applicants from the 1,000 to a very minimal number, say something like 300, 200, right? From which we then begin to conduct a virtual interview for those who scale through the stage of filtering of the applications, right? So at that stage, we are able to filter the application, and then, yes. Adewale, please, I would like to turn on my video. Can you please just grant me pause to this new device? Thank you. Yes, so at that stage, those who scale through the first phase of the selection process are then called in for an interview, a virtual interview. And so during the stage of the virtual interview, you would meet, individuals who will be screening you. All right, please, just a minute while I switch devices. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so you'll be screened. Confirm that you can see me and you can hear me. All right, great. Yeah, so you'll be screened. Those who scale through the selection process will be screened, and then they'll be called in for a virtual interview. And at the virtual interview stage, right, at the stage of the virtual interview, you would that is where we then select our pool of participants from based on their response to the interview questions. Yes, and so this year we are going to be having 50 participants on site, and then we're also going to be having 50 participants virtually, making a total of 100 participants who will be joining this year's Venture in Management program. And also as well, the program has been scheduled to happen in the last week of August. That date will be obviously made public as soon as all communications go out. But basically, just to give an overview of all that I've said, we have 3 stages of application processes, of selection processes. The first stage is where we receive the application and we filter. The second stage is where we check in with the essays to confirm that we are selecting quality individuals for the program. And those who scale through the first stage are going to be called in for a virtual interview. And then during the virtual interview stage, we are going to be selecting the top 100 participants, of which the top 50 will be joining physically on site, and then the remaining top 50 will be joining virtually from all of their locations, right? So that is how the participants will be selected through the course of the application process. And I wish you all the best in this pool. I look forward to seeing you all on the slot of 2026 Venture in Management program. Thank you so much for listening, and enjoy the remaining part of this info session.
All right. Thank you so much, Oluwatosin. Thank you so much for that. You may want to wait because we have some questions in the chat box, and I know you already answered some, but I'll just like that you relay emphasis on them. So someone asked that what are the ViMP, what are the things ViMP is looking for? So what do you think ViMP is looking for?
Can you please take that again, Miriam?
What are the things ViMP is looking for?
What are the things ViMP is looking for? So specifically, that's part of, that should be a secret to us, right? Because that's what we use to select our participants. Yeah. However, I'll just give a little bit of hint into that. Number one thing we are looking out for are prospective leaders, right? We are looking at people who have vision for their lives and they can communicate it in clear terms, right? We know that you are heading somewhere and you can specifically state where you are heading to for us to buy into your vision. So, we are looking for aspiring young leaders, right? So if during the course of the selection process, if we cannot specifically pick
that you are someone who is going to be a leader in, like, look at Ariola. Ariola was a participant last year, and look at all of the connections he was able to access as a result of his participation in the program, right? So you would also agree with me that we made a good choice by selecting Ariola as a participant. Look at Miriam on the call, look at Gifts, look at Tosin as she spoke as well. Every single person who has gone through the program, if you track back to check their lives, you will see that they are doing amazingly well in their career and in their course, in their field, specifically as well currently, right? So that's one particular thing that we look out for. Second thing that we look out for as well is that the essence of the program is to build entrepreneurs, right? Entrepreneurs, business owners. And when we say entrepreneur, the concept of entrepreneur will be expanded to you when you come for the program, because inside entrepreneurship, there's going to be the concept of entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship, like this, people who can take ownership for solving problems, right? So from the process of application, if we cannot identify the fact that you have a prospect of ensuring that problems are being solved, even from your local community, and then at a very small scale, then it is not something that you would bring up even when you get the large scale opportunity to solve a problem. So we look out for problem solvers, we look out for aspiring leaders, we look out for individuals who have a projection for their life and they can communicate it in clear terms as well. So those are the people that we look out for the selection of the program. The only part where the criteria of first class or second class upper count is at the place of filtering those that will come into the stage of interview, right? But after the filtering stage and you get to the interview stage, it's no longer about your first class. It is no longer about your second class upper. It is now about what you can offer and how to communicate it for the interviewers to assess and then decide whether you'll be coming on board or not. I hope I was able to answer that question.
All right, thank you so much, Oluwatosin. In a word, one of the things ViMP is looking out for is substance, right? Yes. So thank you so much. We have another question. Does ViMP help to find where I can get jobs? Does ViMP help to find where I can get jobs?
That's a very, very brilliant and beautiful question. And I can say that categorically for ViMP. For those of us that manage ViMP at the back end, we've been working tirelessly to ensure that we partner with well-meaning organizations who are willing to bring juicy offers to participants. In 2022, GB Foods offered about 2 or 3 participants job opportunity after the program. I'm not telling you fables, right? I'm telling you real-time story of what has happened in previous years, right? And this year as well. So one of the structure that we have for the program and for the participants is that we are also putting up a job matching program after the engagement. So the structure of the job matching program is, as you are applying, we are going to also request for your CV, right? You are going to be submitting your CVs, and we are working with organizations like Jobberman, Veraki Partners, well-known organizations who we are going to be sending those CVs to. And if you meet the criteria of their selection as well, they'll be calling you for an interview, and then you can get an internship opportunity or a job opportunity from them. I have quite a number of my colleagues who, as a result of the Venture Management Program, got to work with Junior Achievement Nigeria, right? In 2020, the participant who eventually became the assistant manager programs at Junior Achievement Nigeria was a member, participated in the program, right? Was a participant. And then after the program, he was called in for an interview, and he got the opportunity to become an assistant programs manager at Junior Achievement Nigeria. So ViMP has a lot of juicy offer for participants, not just for you to attend the program, but for you to be securely placed in a way that we can be proud of, and we can also affiliate ourselves with you to ensure that we can say that you are our product, basically. Yeah, so we have that in place as well. But it is not a guarantee for all participants. It is just a possibility and a part of the structure. Yeah, I thought to also mention that, so that everybody does not look forward to saying that it is compulsory. I'm coming to this program because I want to get a job. And so if they don't get the job, they start holding us to our neck, or maybe sue us to say, we promised that and we did not deliver. We are putting a structure in place for that. And then participants also hold on to such opportunities during the course and after the program as well. Yeah, so we have that in place.
All right, thank you for that disclaimer because I was going to find a way, just smuggle myself in so that I can come back and become maybe the programs manager for Junior Achievement Nigeria. But it's fine, thank you for that. So, two questions as one. Do I need my transcript to apply, and when is the application likely to open?
All right, that
Transcript,
was supposed to come in at the end of the program, but you want me to let the cat out of the bag now. Yeah. Okay, so let me answer the transcripts, and then by the time we are done with the questions, I would answer the time the application link will be out. Is that fine, Miriam? So let that be the last question I'll be attending to. Is that fine?
Okay. Yes, that is fine.
Yeah. So for the transcript, you actually do not need your transcript. You don't need your transcript. Letter of notification. I think there's something called letter of notification that schools give just to confirm your certificate, your grade after graduation. Is it letter of notification? Am I correct? I think so. Right. That shows that you graduated with this particular grade. Statement of
Statement
results.
of results, yes.
Yes. There's also something called letter of notification as well. I think it was provided for my school as well, just to show that at the time the result was not out, but that letter of notification served as an evidence and as a proof to show that this person actually finished with this particular grade. If that is what you have, you can also upload that, right? But not technically your transcripts. Yeah, if you have your statement of result, notification of result, not statement, notification of result, that was it, yeah. Notification of result, statement of result, notification of results that can prove your grade from your school, that is clearly acceptable, right? I hope I answered that question.
All right, thank you so much. So moving on to the next question, two in one again. Do participants get to decide how they want to attend, either physically or virtually? Then do we pay for this? Frequently asked question.
All right, this is a great question, and I would want to implore you that immediately after this session, you can go on our social media platform or also on our website. All of these questions have also been answered on our website just to give a better, broader perspective to the program, right? So, do you get to choose which, whether you be a physical on-site participant or virtual participant? I would answer it from two perspectives. Now, for those who automatically get the slot to attend on-site, they can choose whether they want to attend on-site or join virtually. I hope that makes sense, right? So if you are part of the first set of individuals who get the slot to attend on-site, you have the opportunity to decline that offer and request to join virtually. But if you are given the slot to attend virtually, you can only be called or you can be invited. Yes, you can be invited or you can be given the option of attending physically if we notice that there's an empty slot, maybe someone that was supposed to attend on-site has switched to attend virtually, and you are the next in line. It's not just a random slot, right? So we look based on the grading of the interview process. So after the first 50, and then someone from the first 50 says he wants to attend virtually, then we look at number 51, and like that before we then decide whether or not, right? So May, can you please turn off your video? It's distracting. Yeah, thank you. If you can hear me, can you please turn off your video? It's distracting. All right, yeah. So technically, you don't have a choice of whether you would attend on-site or virtually, depending on your interview results. But those who get the slot to attend on-site, they can also decide whether they would attend physically or virtually. And then if there's a space to fill in for on-site, we would then look at the result based on the hierarchy of scores that we have to decide who will be able to clinch onto that slot or not. Yeah. So I think I was able to balance the possibility for option.
All right, thank you. So the second question, do we pay for this? And I think after the do we pay for this question, you may want to take the application date. I think that's the last question we have here.
All right. So thank you very much, Miriam. Do we pay for this? No, it is fully funded by Junior Achievement Nigeria, in partnership with organizations that we are going to be unveiling upon the confirmation of, our agreements and partnership conversation with them. So it is fully funded. It's a free organization to Lagos Business School for 1 week intensive learning. However, we understand that some participants, as a result of their busy schedule, they tend to decide when they would join the program and when they would not join the program. And to curb that excesses, participants are expected to pay a commitment fee to hold you accountable for choosing to be a part of the program. And this year, for those who be attending on-site, they'll be meant to pay a commitment fee of 10,000 naira. And those who be attending virtually will be paying a commitment fee of 5,000 naira. Right. So it is not a huge amount that is going to be heavily burdensome on anybody. The cost of the program is heavily sponsored by Junior Achievement Nigeria and the partners will be unveiling for the program. However, there's an amount attached to participants who will be selected as a commitment fee to ensure that they pay attention to their participation during the course of the program. And the strategy behind that is to make you say that whatever you put your money to, you put your heart to it. So if you are committing your 10,000 naira to it, you know that you cannot waste your time or your slot or just do anyhow during the course of the program. And even if you do anyhow, right, you just have it at the back of your mind that somebody else would have appreciated this slot that you are taking for granted. But yeah, it's just a commitment fee. But the exact amount, the cost of running the program is fully funded by Junior Achievement Nigeria, and the organizations will be unveiling as sponsors and partners for the program. And finally, the link for application will be out on Sunday. Yeah, so it's something that everybody should look out for. The link for application will be out on Sunday, 14th of June, 2026, and will be open for 2 weeks. We'll be closing out on the application by the 30th of June, 2026. So please let us inform our friends, our neighbors, our colleagues to ensure that they're able to send in the application before the end of this timeline. The recording would look into that and see what we can do from our end as an organization. Thank you, everyone. Over to you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Oluwatosin. Thank you so much. So Sunday, here we come. Hi, Angela. While we take the next thing on our agenda, I would want you to drop every Jan social media handle in the chat box, so that for anyone who doesn't or who is not following Junior Achievements Nigeria, they can just do that very quickly so they do not miss out on anything. Yes, so please, if you are not following Jan on all platforms, as soon as that is dropped in the comment section, ensure that you follow Junior Achievements Nigeria on all platforms. You really do not want to miss out on our post. Yes, so it's been a long time on the call, and I know that everyone here must have learned one or two. So I would want us to share in the chat box one thing that stood out for you today. Just one thing that stood out for you today. Yes, so let's go. One thing that stood out. So the age limit is 19 to 27. Peace. Yes, 19 to 27. So one thing that stood out for you today. Yes, I'll be waiting. You know, when is the application starting? Sunday 14th. Yes, Sunday 14th, this Sunday. So one thing that stood out for you today, yes, so Tosin said ViMP is not just a week program, it is a lifetime of partnership. Gift said ViMP sets you up for success. Yes. Then another thing, you need to experience ViMP to understand ViMP. In the words of Daniel, do not conform yourself to a path. Open up to many opportunities that come by. Yes, thank you. So I am waiting for more. What's one thing that stood out for you today? ViMP is looking out for problem solvers and aspiring leaders. Yes. Yes. So what also stood out for Boluwatife is that ViMP is a lifetime partnership. Lifetime partnership it is. Yes, it is not bye bye, but see you again. Yes, so I am looking out. Okay, can we have more? I'm sure everyone on this call must have learned something today. So all the 100 are not physical, Emerald. 50 physical participants, 50 online participants. Yes. And another thing that I was hoping someone would say is that stay true to thyself. To thyself, be true. Stay true to yourself. Yes. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. The next thing on our agenda now is that, okay, Ozana, one thing that stood out for me is that ViMP is looking for young people who can communicate their vision clearly. Yes, who can communicate their vision clearly. Yes. So the next thing on our agenda is appreciation. Yes, appreciation. Closing remarks. And would not have any other person do that than our programs lead at Junior Achievement Nigeria in person of Indepawe Kwage Jonah. So yes, can we give okay, so yes, I was going to say can we give an applause, but our reactions, let me see your reactions, energy in the chat box. No, our energy is not low, right? This is just the first phase. We still have what's it called, a long way to go, so we can do better. We can do better. Yes. So hi Adewale, please unmute in Depawe.
All right, awesome. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for that warm welcome. For those that sent in trumpets, for those that sent in applauses. My name is Ndipawe Juna Kwage, and I serve as a program leader at Junior Achievements Nigeria. I must say this session was very, very interactive. When we had this date, I thought of, oh, we have a lot of participants because it's a public holiday and the timing of the event as well, but seeing your interactions throughout, your commitment, and so whenever there are sections like this, right, if people don't ask questions, you just have to assume that they're either not interested or they do not understand. But with how interactive it's like, people could even wait for Lua Tosin to come on board to be asking all the questions they had, and we're really, really so grateful for your time with us. And ViMP is one of the flagship programs that we have that indeed when it's time for that program, everyone is just so excited. As excited as you are in this call, I will assure you that even the team as well internally is so excited about ViMP. And yes, whenever the planning comes in, it's always all hands on deck. And I want to extend appreciation to our panelists today, ViMP alumni, for taking out the time in your busy schedules to come and pour out from the little that Junior Achievement Nigeria has given you through ViMP. You have really grown that, and you have, it's like sowing a seed and now it has flourished and you have more fruit and flowers now to give to others. We are really, really grateful for that. Thank you for your attention to details. Thank you for being patient and for responding adequately. And I also want to appreciate the moderator, Mariam Suleiman, to keep the conversation going, and also excellent time management. You know, we said we will be done by 5 p.m. and I'm seeing it's 3 minutes to 5. Yeah, that is amazing. So please, everyone, let's give Mariam Suleiman a round of applause as well. Thank you so much. And for my colleagues as well on the call, our digital team, especially those at the back end, you never see them. They don't come up to give speeches, they don't, but for creating this platform for us to be here uninterrupted is all on them. We're grateful. The management team being here as well, Mike Oluwatosin, for that very detailed explanation, and we're excited for the applications we'll receive starting Sunday. We will say spread the word. You heard from this one of the speakers that said he learned about ViMP through a friend of theirs that recommended it. So spread the word. You never can tell. You might be spreading the word to the next Aliko Dangote, who through ViMP will get to create something big. And by the time they be like, oh, I remember the start of my career, it was someone here that made me joined ViMP, and then from ViMP I created this and that, and then I'm now able to have this big enterprise, so let's spread the word as far as many people as possible. And should we have any further questions, our social media pages are there. Please feel free to drop your questions to us via DM. Our team will get to respond. Our email address are also open. You can send us email should you have any question. In the end, I just want to say thank you to everyone. We've really had grateful interactions, and I'll say good luck to everyone that is applying. And we really hope to see you at Lagos Business School or virtually when the session starts. Thank you so much. Over to you, Mariam.
Thank you so much, Ndepawe. Can we put our hands together for Ndepawe? Virtual ovation for Ndepawe. I can't see that energy. I can't see that energy. It is ViMP season, and you see, hey, I cannot see our energy. I'm not feeling it. All right, all right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. So in the chat box, we have our social media handles already. So we on our website is www.jnigeria.org, on X, formerly known as Twitter, at JNigeria, on LinkedIn, in Achievements Nigeria, on Instagram, JA Nigeria, on YouTube, JA Nigeria, on Facebook, JA Nigeria. You can always just search for JA Nigeria or Junior Achievements Nigeria, and voila. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining in this evening. And I hope to see you at Lagos Business School. Yes, so thanks so much, everyone, for joining, and have a great evening. Bye, everyone.
Which one more? One part was stopping. Oh, so let's go. Oh,